so much. I love to see when people are living their passion. And there's no doubt that you're living your passion in sharing your music. And thank you for just stepping into those gifts and sharing it for over 30 years together. That's amazing. Fantastic. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Aren't we so blessed? Wow. Wow. I wish that we would have had time this afternoon to have you stay and have a concert. It would have been so amazing. Next time. Yes, thank you. We would love that. Thank you. Well, good morning, Unity of Springfield. How are we doing today? How are we doing today? Have you been enjoying this weather? Amazing, isn't it? Get a little bit of fall in the middle of August. What? Wow, that's pretty awesome. And Lisa and Dee, thank you guys so much. That was a complete surprise. Sunflowers are my favorite flowers. Did you order sunflowers? Yes. Okay, thank you. So that was just, wow, thank you. That was so beautiful. Okay, so for the past 6 weeks, we have been leaning into potentialities and possibilities. We have been diving into our responsibility in doing the work that is ours to do. Yes. and we're doing that, why? To affect dynamic change in our lives. And I hope that we all have been doing the work that is ours to do, and I hope that we have been experiencing change in our consciousness, dynamic change in our consciousness, and that we have started to experience dynamic change in our lives. And I hope that you will share with me what some of these experiences are in your life, because I love to be able to share real life experiences from the frontier that people have been experiencing. So I thought that a good pause for now in this series would be a What If It All Goes Right by Mindy Odlin. Now, I say a pause because, as you know, I am starting a 6-week sabbatical tomorrow. I'm so ready for some downtime. But when I come back, I'm planning on spending 2 weeks talking about the teachings of the late, great Reverend Eric Butterworth, who is just was a phenomenal minister. You will love that. Following that 2 weeks, Daniel Namot is going to be here. Oh, yes, on October 6th. So mark your calendars because he is going to be doing a concert as well. I love that Daniel puts us on his radar when he's up at Unity Village. What a blessing that is to us. So make sure to put that there. And then starting October 13th, we're going to start a 7-week small group study on Richard Rohr's book, The Naked Now. So we have a lot of stuff that's coming up. Okay, so getting back to what if it all goes right. So I want to tell you, this is a talk that I did 10 years ago, and I realized I'd also done it 2 years ago. So here's what I'm going to say. If you remember it and you're doing the work, I'm going to take that as a compliment. But what I know for myself is I need to be reminded of these truths and of these principles over and over again. How many of us get in our humanness? Yeah, so these are things that just can help us to remember to get back on track. So let's go back to the beginning. And I mean into the beginning in Genesis, where God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God said, "Let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let the dry ground appear." And God said, "Let the land produce vegetation." And God said, "Let there be lights in the vault of the sky to separate the day from the night." And God said, "Let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds." And God says, "Let us make mankind in our," I like the word our, "image and likeness." And God saw all that God had made, and it was good. Now, Mindy says she never heard a version of this story that said, in which God said, "But what if the light doesn't work? And what if the waters don't stay in one place? And what if because of that there might not be vegetation, since there might not be land? And what if there are no living creatures? And what if it doesn't turn out good?" Have you guys ever heard that version of the story? No. But we're pretty good at that, aren't we? But what if? Downing is what that's called. So she says that the term "what if up" She calls that a verb, and that is to ask what if questions in a way that expand possibilities and inspires innovation. And that's why I think this is a good way to end this part of the series, is because this is just practical application of what we've been talking about for the last 6 weeks. So here's some of the questions. What if you could achieve greater financial success despite the reality of a struggling economy? What if you could improve your physical health and well-being despite the reality of a medical diagnosis? What if you could manifest your romantic ideal partner despite the reality of prior relationship disappointments? What if you could fill your life with peace and beauty despite headlines of violence and environmental degradation? What if you can impact the world in a way that fulfills your purpose and passion, even after you've established a comfortable level of success in your life? Now, those questions feel pretty good, don't they? Because the what if expands us. The what if takes us in, again, to the realm of potentialities and possibilities. So Mindy tells the story, and I love this, of learning how to drive when she was 16. And she lived in Texas, and she said in Texas there are 6-lane highways. So she said that being the perfectionist that she is, that she focused intensely on how she could precisely stay between the yellow dotted lines of the highway. And she says, faster and faster those lines darted past me as my eyes attempted to gauge the exact locations of the front tires. Committed to being precisely in the middle of my lane and urged by my instructor to keep up with the speed of the traffic lest I be squished, I found myself more and more overwhelmed at the impossibility of the task at hand. She said the faster I went, the faster those little lines flew by me. The faster those little lines flew by me, the faster I would have tried to adjust being less than perfectly center. And she found herself in such a frenzied state, and her driver's ed teacher, who she said should be probably be nominated for sainthood, sensed her frenzy and offered her a priceless and profound bit of advice that became the basis for this book. And what he said was, shift your focus. And she said it went against her every instinct. After all, how could she possibly keep between the lines without focusing on keeping between the lines? But to be in compliance, she quickly glanced up at what was in front of her and then immediately back to her safety zone of focusing on staying between those lines. And he said again, shift your focus and don't worry about where you are. Relax and lift your vision so you can see where you are going. Wow. I mean, that's just a profound message right there, right? Shift your focus and don't worry about where you are. Don't worry, because what is worry? It's negative energy. Worry is pre-intending what you don't want in your life, right? So don't worry. Just lift your vision so that you can see where you're going. And she said, of course, the rest of the story is that by lifting her vision and shifting her focus, the ride smoothed out and she was able to stay between the lines without having to be so worried. So Mindy says that there are 2 words that can shift our focus and that 2 words that hold within them the power to either create or destroy. And they are 2 of the most powerful words in our language, and we use them every day, whether we are consciously aware of it or not. And those 2 words are what if. And even if we're not saying the words what if, we understand what comes after those words, right? When we're not in a more expansive state of consciousness, because those words can really, again, they can destroy. So what if my life really could be better? What if my community could be better? What if my country could be better? What if the world could be better? What if, think about the possibilities with this, especially right now, with the state of where we're at in our country. What if? What if? What are some of those things that would come after the what if when it comes to how we could create truly a world that works for all of us? Changes everything. So she says that everything we create begins with a thought. And we know that, right? Okay. The thought then elicits a feeling. And the feeling is where we really want to get to, because a thought in and of itself can just be a feather wisping on a mountainside, doesn't have a big effect. But when we bring the head and the heart together, when we have the thinking and the feeling together, that is when we really start to create something. And so she says the feeling then inspires us to take action, and that our action is actually what determines our reality. But she said, here's what happens, is that typically we point to the reality that currently is as the basis for our next cycle of thoughts unconsciously. That's why we talk so much about becoming conscious co-creators, waking up and becoming aware of where our focus is, because just by default, we'll go back into that same cycle of old thoughts, right? Unless we wake up and do something different. And she says the cycle perpetuates without end, and that unexamined, unconscious thoughts reflect an observed reality. They reflect what is and what has been, generating the feelings that cause us to act in ways that create and reinforce the old reality. And in the end, we smugly point to this new reality as evidence that our thoughts were correct all along, right? We get that, right? That makes perfect sense to us. And the thing is that sometimes in our humanness, we get stuck. We don't even realize that we're stuck in that cycle. And until something wakes us up, or maybe somebody can say something to us that helps us to look at things from a different perspective. So the example is, we've talked about the scripture about the man by the pool of Bethesda, where he has been laying on his mat by this pool for 38 years. 38 years. So what this is saying is that sometimes those things that get really, really, really stuck in us, that we can change those things. We can change those things by shifting our focus. And I love that. However long something has been there, it doesn't matter. There can always be a new reality for us. So here comes Jesus, and Jesus says, hey, do you want to be made whole? And of course the man says, yeah, I want to be made whole, but every time that the waters get stirred up, by the time I can get there, all the healing has been taken out of the waters. And so what this is that this man this has become his cycle of thought, which proves itself true over and over. And what does the great master teacher say? He just says, pick up your mat and walk. Don't keep looking at the same thing, or thinking the same thoughts, or speaking the same words, or hanging out with the same people that are keeping you stuck in that stuff, and expect a different result. Right? We have to do something to change that dynamic. Think a different thought and just get up. And he did. And one of the things that we were talking about this last night, that you go further in the story, and the man runs into Jesus again, and he's like, go and tell no one, but don't sin again. And sin is simply missing the mark. He's saying, don't go back to your stinking thinking, because guess what? You're going to end up laying on that mat again by the pool and expecting the waters, and the same thing's going to happen. Don't sin again. Don't keep thinking those error thoughts. And so we're going to go to Charles Fillmore for a couple minutes here. Charles Fillmore is co-founder of Unity. And so we're going to start with this. He says, to man, from Dynamics for Living, is given the highest power in the universe, the conscious power of thought. What a gift this is for us. We have a thinking mind, but not only do we have a thinking mind, we get to have control about what is in this thinking mind. That's it. That's a real gift. He says there is a universal creative force that urges man forward to the recognition of this creative power of his individual thought. He goes on to say, thinking is the formulating process of the mind. Its nature is to think, and think it will. Yes, absolutely. If you are ignorant of your office, of your ability to have command or dominance over your thought processes, and you stand meekly by and let it think unsifted thoughts, your thinking is going to prove an unruly servant. Its good is ideas symbolized in the gospel as fishes, metaphysically In the Bible, fish represent ideas, and is forever casting its net on the right for the bounty or left for a drought. This is referring to a scripture in which Jesus says, cast your net on the right, and that's where don't keep doing the same thing. Do something different. You alone can direct where its net shall be cast. You are the one who says cast the net on the right. Okay, that's all, we get that. So he goes on to say, thought is a mental vibration or impulse, and every thought clothes itself in a life form according to the character given by the thinker. Now, I want to add here, like I said, when it's like, be aware of every single thought you have. The thoughts that we want to get a hold of are the ones that we have attached feeling to and belief to. So I would even go to say every thought and the feeling that goes along with it clothes itself in a life form. The form is simply the conclusion of the thought and the feeling. It's the manifestation. The mind of man marshals its faculties and literally makes into living entities the thoughts that it entertains. That puts the responsibility on everybody outside of me, right? No, it's my responsibility to get control of what it is that I'm thinking and believing about myself, about the nature of life, about the nature of relationship, about the nature of that which we call God or love or universe, whatever you want to call it. It's up to me to get clarity on what have I been thinking, what are some of those things that are still going on in there, and if I'm having experiences. And I've said this before, if I'm having the same relationship over and over but with different people, I need to be looking in the mirror, right? And I need to be changing what it is I believe, maybe about my own value, maybe about my worth, maybe about what I believe, again, about, the nature of people in general. So Mindy uses this, and I like this. And so what is that? It's just... say it out loud so I can hear you. A what? A bowling ball. What else? A black hole. An eclipse. Yeah. What else could it be? There you go. All right, you're right. I'm sorry. A blank space. Could it be the dot of a pencil? Could it be a black bar stool? Could it be a planet? Could it be the dark side of the moon or a dark chocolate kiss? The center of our eye or a bottle cap? An ink spot? I mean, the list goes on and on. It's like, are we willing to look at this and use in our imagination, be open to seeing something differently than just a black dot on the screen? And she says, casting our net on the right side is being open to seeing something different in our thought process. And what if upping is an incredible tool to do just that. So let's talk for a moment about what if downing. Anybody ever do what if downing? Yeah, what if downing? It's a pretty, that's not expansive, is it? That's contractive. That's a contractive energy. That generally isn't going to feel too good. So what if downing is using the power of our what if to talk ourselves maybe out of an idea, or to perpetuate what has always been, to keep that going. So things like, well, what if it doesn't work? What if it's too expensive? What if I lose what I have now going for something new? What if I fail? What if I'm judged? What if people don't understand me? What if the timing is wrong? What if I make a mistake? What if I'm too old? What if? Any, you recognize any of them? What was that? What if I fly? Yeah. And so that's the what if downing. And so I love this. There was a study with a group of monks. And what this study was to see that if by focus, meditation, mindfulness, they could collectively unravel a DNA strand. So there were 3 groups in this experiment. And in the first group, they had a petri dish with DNA in it. And what they were told was to focus all their mental energy on seeing this DNA strand and visualizing it unravel, change, seeing the molecular structure change. And so this group did this and nothing changed. So the second group had a DNA strand in a vial, and they were told not to focus on the DNA, but rather to focus on love and compassion and positive emotional states and peace. Focus on the heart and expand the heart. So they did that, and nothing changed. And so the third group was to take the intention of changing the DNA while they were simultaneously in this state of love and compassion and peace and this elevated state. And in this state, the strand changed. So it's recognizing that it's not just positive thinking, it's not just thinking happy feelings. It's a combination of being able to focus on what we want and do that in an elevated state of consciousness. Now, I do want to say this, that sometimes we have to start and we don't really believe it yet, right? So we want to, that's where, yes. And that's okay. So if you aren't in that elevated state of consciousness yet, at least start doing those affirmations. At least start doing those things. Make it believable for yourself. Stretch yourself a little bit on that. Don't make it unbelievable for yourself. But you will get to the place where you start believing it. I always think about if I stand here and I put a pencil in my hand, that I can stand here for a while and, I don't feel anything, with that pencil, but eventually that pencil starts to feel real heavy because my arm starts to get tired. So eventually we're going to start feeling it. So this is what if upping does for us. And I love how she says this. She says, when used purposely, the question, what if, allows you to instantly navigate the dark waters of your mind and skillfully turn your ship around in the face of an imminent iceberg. Yes? Yeah. That when we feel like something big is coming at us or like things aren't going our way, we can stay on that train, we can stay in that mindset, or we can use the power of what if upping to start turning our ship and turning it in a different direction. So, in the realm of time. An example of what if downing is, maybe you have an end of a relationship and then you say something like, what if this is evidence that I should never be in a relationship again? What if this proves that I can't trust men or women? What if this just proves that I'm unlovable? How's that going to work for you, right? But she says when our imagination is in high alignment, we can look at that same black dot through a different lens of reality. What if upping is, what if this gives me a life-changing opportunity to grow in my awareness of what love is? What if I get to experience forgiveness on a whole new level? I wonder what kind of opening this will create for me. What if this opens me up to unlimited possibilities for what if this opens up new and unlimited possibilities for me to take what I have learned to create the sacred partnership I've always dreamed of? That is a great opportunity to get clarity on what it is that you do want. What if I use this experience to identify my own limiting patterns and maybe choose something different the next time? So again, we want to get to the feeling. So I'm just going to share some ideas of what if upping, what some of this could look like. And you can use it like in different areas. What if you could let go of where your career will lead you and instead focus all your awareness on what you love about what you are doing now? What if you loved your body exactly the way it was right now? What? What if you cared for your body inspired by that love? What if because you loved your body the way it is now, you were inspired to take positive action for your body? What if the hardships you are currently facing are accelerating your journey for a better life? What if in overcoming challenges you have today, you are really able to reach out to others and comfort them when they are in similar circumstances? What if your hardships bring you into contact with people who love and support you in ways beyond anything you have ever experienced? What if life What if experiencing illness gives us the time to nurture ourselves in a new and life-empowering way? What if a financial hardship was an opportunity to simplify our lives and remember the things that are the most important to us are hardly ever just things? And what if all that is happening is setting us up for amazing things that we haven't even begun to imagine yet? How many times have we been able to look back and go, oh my gosh, I would have never imagined this could turn out this way? And what if the benefits of being here this morning for you begin to show up later tonight or even tomorrow in ways that surprise and delight you? So I want to share with you, in 2022, our board did, when we did our retreat, we did what if upping. And I want you just to recognize the first 5 of these things. What if we raised enough funds to build an outdoor stage in time for Planet Unity in 2022? And there it is. What if we updated our kitchen with a new dishwasher, new sink, countertops, and paint? And we're mostly there on that. What if our live stream capabilities just keep getting better and better? What if we increase our online attendance exponentially? And the first part of that, we're still working, and what if upping the exponentially? What if we had a dynamic youth program for all ages with age-appropriate classes and plenty of volunteers to nurture our youth? And I want to tell you, we have a dynamic youth leader in Jen Baker. What if we had more than enough volunteers for every area of our crisis cold weather shelter so that there was never a concern if we could open or not? What if we could pay a part-time crisis cold weather shelter coordinator? And I want to tell you that we have been blessed with volunteers stepping up to make that happen. So here's some more that we're still leaning into. What if we had fundraising activities every month for our spiritual community? Although I think we have a lot of fundraising activities, and thank you, John Russ and Rick and Cindy, for putting together our live music outside. What if we had multiple groups that were active out in our communities? What if Planet Unity draws thousands of people that are interested in taking care of our planet? And what happened this year? We probably had maybe 1,000 people come to our Planet Unity for the first time ever. It was amazing. What if you feel drawn to participate or even lead any of these areas of our ministry? I'm putting it out. The love is going out for how many of you want to step up and say yes to that? What if all of us participated in some way to let people know that Unity of Springfield is here and that lives are changing for the better? What if these seats were filled every week? What if there's more than enough money supporting all that we are here to be at Unity of Springfield? What if that happened? How beautiful would that be? What if each of us, and this is what Mendy says, had this ability from a place of darkness and chaos to conceive of the possibility of light and call it forth into our lives and into our world? The truth is, we do have this potential, every single one of us. So what I want to encourage you, my friends, to do, and when I come back, I want to hear your stories, is to this week, when you find yourself pointing in the direction of what you don't want, and you know how you're going to know? You're going to feel it, aren't you? You're going to be feeling it in the pit of your stomach. Your mind's going to be racing. You may be talking some negative stuff. We all get there. Remember, you are the ruler of your mind. You are the commander of this ship. And I invite you to use the what if upping to turn your ship in the direction of the life that you want, because it's here for you. At this very moment, it's here for you. All you got to do is claim it. So I say to you, namaste. I will truly miss you guys. You are my family. I love you so much. And thank you for the opportunity for me to take a much needed break and a much needed rest. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Oh my gosh, can we just be thankful for that moment right there? Thank you so much, Ginger and Linda, for being here today. We are so blessed at Unity of Springfield to have people who love us and wander through and provide beautiful music and beautiful messages. So thank you. Be sure to check out their table out in the foyer. And in case you're wondering, that's a great song to like belt at the top of your lungs in your car. I speak from experience. So thank you for that song. Announcements today at 4:30. Jean Andrus will lead Practical Prayer Energy for Healing. So participants will learn and then be able to practice methods of energy healing and energy centers. All are welcome, and we will thank you in advance for your flexibility in finding a location within the church that does not have yard sale stuff in it. Also for meditation, that is tonight at 6 p.m., is open to everyone. The Navigating Grief Support Group meets every Monday at 6 p.m. In the New Thought and World Religion class at 9:15 next Sunday, there will be special guest Francie Wolf and friends presenting One Drop of Blood, What Does It Mean to Be a Jew? Beginning August 15th, the map makers are back in the house, meeting every Thursday at 10 a.m. Next Sunday, 2 to 5, all are invited to help Pat and Les McClellan celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary. Yes. So that's going to be a come and go event here at the church. They ask that you not bring gifts. The invitation is in the foyer if you want to take a picture of that. They are asking if you will please RSVP so that they can plan for how many as soon as possible. So Saturday, August 24th at 7 p.m., we are excited to announce the Inner Works for Solo Percussion. That was a tongue twister. Come and enjoy the amazing talents of percussionist Eric Scott Rousseau. This event will be here in the sanctuary, and it is based on love offering for cost, so whatever's in your heart to give. The 1946 Road Trip Across America tour will be stopping in Springfield on August 22nd from 6 to 10 p.m. They're offering a free event that will utilize the award-winning documentary 1946, The Mistranslation That Shifted Culture, as a tool for civic engagement. Along with the free showing of 1946, there will be various guest speakers. If you would like to learn more, you can Google 1946 Road Trip Across America, Springfield, Missouri, and get all the details. There is also a flyer in the foyer. And that may sound like we're not giving you all of the information. It's my understanding that they are purposely withholding pieces of information until closer to the time because of the controversy surrounding this event. So it's kind of like you have to sign up and get in the know to know where to go and all the things they're trying to cut down on organized protest. Save the date. Small groups are beginning October 13th. And we will be studying the book The Naked Now by Richard Rohr. We have an announcement. Shondell Hall, one of our congregants that you may have met and may have seen speak in the 9:15 Sunday morning class, has asked that we share that she's got some rescued kittens and adult cats that are in need of forever homes. And she's been given approval to have them available during the yard sale hours for a meet and greet to hopefully get them adopted. So she's going to be here Saturday on the 17th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. She says, in addition to being cute, they are all spayed, neutered, vaccinated, and microchipped. So if you would like more information, please reach out to Shondell Hall on Facebook, Messenger, or email shondellhall@gmail.com. And Mary, are you going to make the announcement? Yes, and if you don't know Shondell, she's sitting in the back in the bright pink shirt. So if you are interested in a new cat child in your home.
Good morning. Okay, so our yard sale is starting to kick off this morning or this afternoon, right after the service. If you are planning on staying to help transform the whole place into a yard sale, come and hang out right up here and you'll get some instruction. We've got to clear out the entire sanctuary and the fellowship hall. We've got a whole bunch of stuff back here that we're bringing in to get the yard sale set up. So if you can stay, we'll feed you and stay here and just hang out right up here until you get some instruction on what to do today. For the rest of the week, we are going to be here 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day, getting everything set up and everything organized. If you can't be here to help with the volunteering, if you would like to volunteer and bring some food to drop off for the volunteers, or just provide some money so that we can feed people, people are much more willing to stay if you feed them, we have discovered. Also, I say this all the time, this is such a fun thing. It is so much fun to come and volunteer. This is an amazing way to really get to know the people that are here in the sanctuary, because we come in, we might visit for a few minutes and then leave, but this is an opportunity to come and hang out, find all kinds of amazing things you have no idea what they are, and try to figure out what they are, and really have conversations with people and really find out about their lives and get to know them and become really good friends with them. Also, go through your closets, go through your garage, all those things that are just hanging out and you haven't really looked at them forever. Look through your yard, through all of your things, your closets. If it doesn't spark joy in your life, bring it in here and somebody else will come along and take it, and it will be exactly what they were looking for. Also, if you volunteer, you get first dibs on everything that comes in. So that's always a good thing. Although I'm still every year threatened by my wife that if I take something home, I have to bring something back. But come and join us throughout the week. Stay here and volunteer today and get all this transformed. The more hands we have, the quicker we'll get it done. So thank you.